Let's turn now to CTV's Jeremie Charron. He's in our bureau for us this morning. Good morning to you. So we are in the final days of this campaign. Where are the leaders focusing their time and their energy?
Yeah, Marcia, home stretch here. We're going to see, I think, all of the leaders quite busy over the next few days and quite strategic about where they're stopping as we start to really see how election night could shape up. Those battlegrounds, ever important battlegrounds, BC being a big one, of course. What we're seeing today is Mark Carney starting in that battleground, British Columbia. He'll then make his way today to Winnipeg a little later. Pierre Poilievre starting in Halifax for that announcement you just saw. He'll then travel to Saskatchewan. And Jagmeet Singh is starting in Winnipeg, where Mark Carney is ending, and he'll make his way to Toronto for a campaign event tonight. I think we can expect to continue to see over the next few days these leaders be very, very busy, Marcia. And as I've touched on, as they watch very closely their internal polling and look at ridings that are going to be very close, where they feel they could flip or they feel they have to work extra hard to keep. We're going to see, I'm sure, you know, the NDP and Jagmeet Singh spend some time in BC trying to save some key ridings there. In a battleground where I think both other parties, the Conservatives and the Liberals, are going to spend some time as well, as that riding has flip-flopped, or BC, at least the province, has flip-flopped back and forth several times throughout this campaign and is going to be a very tight race to the finish.
Let's talk about the latest polls. It continues to be neck and neck with the Conservatives and the Liberals still in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. You know, last few days, and we're seeing the polls tighten. That gap now down to 4 points between Carney's Liberals and Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives. That is the tightest this race has been when it comes to voter intention since Nanos started tracking throughout this campaign. And so that is very important to note. We're seeing kind of an upswing, a bit of an upswing for the Conservatives, as you see there, 3-point difference over the last 3 days. The Liberals down a little bit, 0.8% over the last 3 days. But most importantly, the gap between the two parties is tightening to about 4 points. The NDP have dropped a little bit of support as well. We've also seen, Marcia, a bit of a tightening between Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney when it comes to preferred prime minister. Now, Mark Carney still has roughly a 10-point lead when it comes to who Canadians would prefer specifically as prime minister, rather than you know, ballot support specifically. Mark Carney's still leading, but we're seeing, as you see there, that gap tightening as well. And again, the momentum moving the same way. The Conservatives kind of building off some upward trajectory, some upward momentum there, and the Liberals seeing a bit of a downswing. So be very curious to see how things shape up with it over the next few days, crucial days at the end of this campaign, as both campaigns really focus in here and will be very strategic about kind of trying to build as much momentum as possible. And the biggest factor here, Marcia, to be honest, is Donald Trump and the White House. We've seen the Conservatives try and shift the messaging away from that, shift Canadians' focus on cost of living, affordability, things like that. And the Liberals continue to try and ensure that the message at the ballot box is about Donald Trump. And we've seen the U.S. president make fresh comments about Canada, most recently saying that Canada would cease to exist if not for U.S. support. And so that is, you know, best case scenario if you're the Liberal Party, because you can continue to hammer home that message in the face of new comments. The Conservatives, I expect, will continue to try and distract from that and focus on what has worked for them, which is issues of affordability and the economy, cost of living, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we know those comments get Canadians really fired up. All right, Jeremie, thanks for that update. Really appreciate it.